All right. Well, good morning, Bearcat families, parents, and friends. Thank you so much for joining our coffee chat series today around move-in tips. My name is Diamond Montgomery, and I currently serve as the Assistant Director of Family Engagement here in our Office of Parent and Family Programs. Our office is here to provide you all with year-round information and engagement opportunities. We want you to kind of stay in the know with campus, different dates and deadlines, as well as, come to campus occasionally and enjoy, UC and all we have to offer with your student. And again, we provide you with year-round information, engagement, and support. And so we're happy to, support you every step of the way. As we prepare for your arrival in the next few weeks, today's coffee chat will be around move in. And so we partner with our housing team, who are the experts in this area. I believe, are we 11 days away? We are 11 days away from your arrival, or some of you all's arrival. And so, we're excited to welcome you, and they will be sharing some tips, the ins and outs so that you all will be able to move in like a pro. We'll have time for Q&A at the end of the presentation today. So please feel free to drop any of your questions into the chat. We may be able to answer some as we go through the presentation as well. And I would like to ask that you refrain from asking, any very specific, questions, and just kind of keep them generic or general questions in this space, as we will not be able to answer any specific questions. So without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it over to our housing team. I'll allow them to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started right with the presentation.
Awesome. Well, Diamond, thank you so much. And thanks to Parent and Family Programs for allowing us this space to be able to share some tips and tricks around move-in. We are excited to be welcoming our Bearcats back to campus starting in 11 days, as Diamond mentioned. And so my name is Michelle Soika, and I serve as an Associate Director for Housing, specifically around facility operations. And I have the pleasure of helping to orchestrate this move-in process that you all will experience here shortly. Jacob?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jacob Knight. I'm the Assistant Director for Housing Operations, and I do a lot to support the back-end stuff for doing the check-in, which then triggers a whole bunch of other things like door access and things like that. So I support and make sure that all goes well. So, all right, Richard.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well and ready for move-in. My name is Richard Sharp. I am an assistant director in our housing team. I primarily do communications, so that includes things like the website. I supervise our call center team, and I send you emails. So that is a general overview of what I do. So if we want to go ahead and go into the next slide, I'll do a bit of an overview of what we're going to chat about this morning. We'll talk about the overall move-in process, the specific dates. We'll go through some specific logistics of what you can expect move-in to look like, kind of how the process flows from stage to stage. If you need any assistance on our move-in days, I'll kind of chat. We'll also chat about kind of the general roles our team plays and where you can get help. And then we'll also have some time for questions and answers specifically at the end. So if you have questions about what we're going over as we go through the presentation, feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A function. Some of your questions, as you think you might have them, might be answered by this presentation. So I'll ask that questions are about like what we're talking about during the presentation. And then if you have any questions about things that we didn't address, we'll have specific time for that at the end of the presentation. So then you can drop those in at the end. So we'll go ahead and dive on into our content. So the primary move-in days for housing move-in, you'll see listed here. So these are when we will have what we call our queue process, which we will dive more into here shortly. But these are really when most of our students are going to be arriving. If your student is a first year, their primary move-in days are going to be Tuesday through Thursday, August 21st or August 19th through 21st. And if it's an upper class student, the primary move-in days are going to be the 22nd through 24th. Now, students can really arrive pretty much any day from the 16th or beyond. But we do have specific like other processes for either arriving on a day that's sooner than the 19th or the 22nd, or if you're arriving after hours. So a lot of the information that we're going to be talking about today is going to be if you're arriving on these days here that you're seeing during the day, here's what you can expect that to look like. If you arrive on a day that's not listed here, like the 17th or 18th, or if you arrive, after hours at like, 7, 8 o'clock, really the summary for what your experience looks like is go straight to your hall. You'll check in there and we'll get you going. So I do want to highlight that most of what we're talking about is specifically about our primary early arrival day on Saturday the 16th, and then our other move-in days on beginning on the 19th.
All right, thanks, Richard. So our move-in process, we like to say, is easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1 is that we go through a check-in process. Step 2 is we send you to our unload areas. And then step 3 is we ask you to park your car. And so we're going to walk through that process here a little bit just to help you understand what the flow will look like for you on your move-in day. So your first step is check-in. So you will be assigned to a specific garage or parking lot area, and you'll be asked to go there for your check-in process. You will pull into that designated area, and we do ask the dash pass, which is an example on the screen right now, is printed. We know that we have a lot of folks who like to be sustainable and try to not print things. We do ask for this to be printed. This pass is really helpful for the staff members and volunteers who are helping families and students navigate our campus during move-in. And so having this available on the car dashboard is really helpful for us. And so we would ask this is available throughout your move-in process, and this QR code on the dash pass is what will be used to check your student in to their housing assignment for the semester. And so by checking students in using this QR code, it does give them access to their building and in many cases also to their room or their student unit. So it is the start of the move-in process for all students through this process. In the check-in process as well, you'll also receive a hang tag that will ask simply for a good phone number that we can reach you at. And every car will receive this. Not every car needs to have a dash pass, just the student needs to have the dash pass, but every car should have this hang tag that they'll receive at the check-in location. And this verifies that the check-in has happened and that the cars in this group are free to move to the unload zone. So you will need to make sure that that is hanging before you get to the unload zone. And then after you're checked in and you get your hang tag, you will be moved into a queue to head to your unload zone. Some of those queues are very, very short, and the unload zone is very close to the check-in area. In other parts of campus, you will have to drive a little bit, and we'll give some great clear directions to get you to your next area. So here's a bigger version, a sample for our friend Jacob Knight, who's also on this call, who is moving into UPA this academic semester. So you'll see that there are a couple of different identifiers like a queue location, a building location, and an unload zone. And again, those are really just to make sure that our staff members and volunteers are making sure you're in the right place so that you're not getting into a queue and you're not even in the right area for your unload or for the building that you're going to. So we just want to make sure that you're headed in the right direction from the get-go.
Michelle, I'm going to hop in here if you don't mind. We're getting a few questions in the Q&A about where and when do we get the Dash Pass? So to answer everybody's question, these get emailed to your student, and these are anticipated to go out tomorrow. So we'll resend them a few times, but they'll be in your student's email. So, make sure your students are getting that, printing it, and yeah, that's where you can find it. It'll be as an attachment in the email that has specific move-in directions.
Great. Thanks, Richard. All right, so we're going to move on to step 2. Once you are checked in and you have your hang tag on your car, you will proceed to the unload zone, and you'll be greeted by a parking staff member or a volunteer, and you'll have 30 minutes to unload. That seems like a really short amount of time, but I promise that if you are thinking strategically, that you can absolutely get this done in 30 minutes. And so you will have 30 minutes to unload. We might have some moving carts available. I like to tell students and families that we cannot guarantee moving carts will be available. So plan as if they may not be. And if they are, then you have an added bonus to your move-in process. We will have a Pack on Wheels campaign going out next week. So make sure to check our social media for different ideas and ways that you might be able to pack that you may not need a cart. And you're also welcome to bring your own cart or those collapsible wagons we see a lot on campus during move-in. So lots of different ways to pack on wheels and have some different options. But you'll have 30 minutes, and we do ask that someone stays with the car at all times. As you can imagine, we have a lot of folks that we're trying to move through our processes, and so we're trying to keep folks in that 30-minute window as much as possible. And so when cars end up without someone at the car, it's hard for us sometimes to get cars moved in a timely manner and allow for more folks to come into that unload zone. So please start thinking about who's going to stay with the car while items are going up into the buildings and into the rooms. Again, we'll have some carts. We may have some carts available for a 30-minute checkout time, and those will be strategically placed in your unload areas. Typically, you'll be able to see them with a pop-up tent. Think about those like tailgating tents and some clear signage to be able to see where those carts might be. The one exception to that is in Dabney and Daniels, we will have a brand new coat check system, so that if you don't have enough folks to take all of the items up to the room and also move the car at the same time, we'll be able to hold on to some of your items while you're moving the car. We'll keep them safe, secure, and under a tent, so that in the event of any weather, we will have them under a tent. But we do have that option in our Dabney Daniels circle, and that's purely because that is a very small area with a whole lot of students coming through that area during our move-in times. So there will be a little bit more information during your unload process on that coat check system for Dabney and Daniels. For our apartment and suite areas, when students are checked in at step 1, their card access automatically starts syncing. And so we would ask that if you're in an apartment or suite area, with the exception of Stratford, that you just go straight to the unit. You'll be able to gain access at that unit level, and you can start unloading your items directly into the unit, and then go back for your bedroom key once your items are into your unit and your car is moved. Again, this just helps us keep that flow going, helps us keep that 30-minute unload process a little bit smoother and on time for everyone. And then step 3 is pretty simple. We're going to have you park. So for our students who have parking permits, we would ask that they go to their permitted garage and park there. And for our guests who don't have a parking permit, we will have designated locations for you to go to, and there will be volunteers to help get you back to those designated locations. Our colleagues in parking services will have QR code vouchers available, so that if the gates are down when you're ready to leave, you'll be able to still exit without needing to pay on your move-in day. And so you'll want to make sure that you have those QR codes to be able to exit the garage if you're a guest and here for a short period of time on your student's move-in day. All right, Jacob.
All right. So our step 1 was the doing the check-in and going to our queue locations. And so you can see each of those queue locations and specifically within the garages where we will be doing the check-ins. I saw a question in the chat about bringing 2 vehicles, and so I felt like this would be a good chance to talk about that. We are hoping that the lead vehicle is the student vehicle, so that we can get them checked in. And but it helps us, and it will help you if you and your student try to stay together if you are bringing multiple vehicles. So there's not confusion about whether you arrived first or the student arrived first. Try to kind of get here in an organized fashion, have the student in the lead to do that check-in for us. So the student will present their dash pass with the QR code at the mobile check-in station. We will do the check-in, and if there's any issues with that, we will have some places set aside for you to pull off for us to get you some extra assistance. But this goes pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. From there, you'll go to some of our staging areas. And so if our unloading zones are at capacity, you might be asked to hold off and wait in the garage area while we get space available. And so then you will be released once we have space in our unloading zones for you. All right, so those unloading areas. Each building has a designated location that they're going to go to unload. Most of those are parking garages or parking lots. And then Dabney Daniels is essentially the street that is very close by for you to get into some parking spots, but also park along the side of the street there to do your unloading. The unloading zones this is really important for our process, that you're staying in there for 30 minutes or less. You're keeping somebody with the vehicle at all times so that when you've hit that 30-minute mark, we can get you moving so that we can get the next family in. And so the unloading zones, I feel like they're all going to be really close to the buildings. And this is where they will also have carts and other things available to help you with your move-in if you do not pack on wheels, as we've encouraged.
All right. So, for our first years in our CRC, Bellevue Gardens, and other communities, like the block lease communities, this is going to be like U Square, if you're in like Gateway Lofts, those communities specifically. So, if you're a parent of a student in one of those communities, I'm talking to you right now. So generally, your student is going to be going directly to the hall to check in. So for students in CRC, you'll just go up but in between campus, Green Garage, and our Woodside Garage. It's called Woodside Drive. You will go up past the Lindner College of Business and you will park directly at CRC. You'll check in there and you'll unload there directly at the community. For Bellevue, you'll go again directly to the community, and you'll be able to check in and unload while there. They'll be able to get checked in at the service center there. And then for those other communities that I mentioned, use Square, Gateway Lofts, again, checking in directly at the property. You'll unload at the property, and then our staff will be on site and able to scan your QR code and get you in. All right. So we will have various staff available on campus, all around campus, and we all have kind of different roles, but our general expectation is to welcome you and make the process as smooth as possible. So in the garages and out on the streets and stuff, you'll see a lot of our university housing staff greeting you, getting you checked in, like scanning your dash pass, making sure you're going to the right place, things like that. Our community coordinators, often called like hall directors or something similar, and our neighborhood operations coordinators will generally be at the hall communities, and they'll do any sort of like logistics in the community. If there's any sort of troubleshooting that needs to happen, with like your check-in or your room or anything like that, they'll be able to assist you. Your students' RAs will be on the floors during check-in, so you should be able to meet them, and uh, they'll greet you, welcome you to the community, all that good stuff. And our desk team will be available at hall service centers to give you your room keys if your assignment does have a room key, and then can generally answer like any questions that you might have. So that's kind of what each of us will be doing. Really, in general, if you have any questions at all, find someone wearing the Ask Me shirt, the welcome shirts. Even if they don't know the answer, they'll get you to the right people who can provide an answer. So just find someone. We'll get you to the right place, and we'll help you with whatever's going on. All right. And then we also have a significant amount of campus partners that don't even work in our university housing office, but a lot of folks will be helping us out during the check-in days. So they help with things like greeting, pointing you in the right direction if you're trying to find something on or around campus, and just generally like welcome you to campus. So if you find someone who has a welcome shirt and you just have a question for them, it might be one of our faculty and staff volunteers, and they're going to do their best to answer their question. But uh, part of what that might look like is getting you in touch with like one of the actual university housing staff who have a lot more training and familiarity with this process than our lovely faculty and staff campus partners do. So if you get referred to somebody else, you might be talking to a faculty or staff member. So thank you for your patience, and we'll get you squared away as soon as we can. All right, and then a couple of miscellaneous things we want to go over. We've covered a lot of the primary move-in logistics and general process, but some other things that we get a lot of questions about. One is if you want to like adjust the default setting of your bed. So this might be raising the default height, lowering it if your student's room comes default as like bunked. How you can do that is we actually a few weeks ago offered a pre-arrival request form that's since been closed, but many students have submitted their requests for adjustments already. If you would like to still make a request, that form will reopen after check-in. So once your student is checked into the hall, if they want to raise or lower their bed, if they want to bunk or unbunk it, we have a web page on our site about like what's available as options in the different communities. It does kind of vary depending on what the community is. But if your student is in a community where we do offer those options, that form will be available to them again after they've moved in, so they can do that again at that point. If they check in and there's anything that needs addressed maintenance or facilities wise or housekeeping wise, hopefully there's none of this. The vast majority of students will not have some of this, but sometimes things happen. They can make a request directly. We have information about this on the website. Your student will also get an automated email sent to their UC account once they've been checked in. And it'll also have some details about how maintenance requests can be submitted. So that's another place that you can find it. So you can find it on the website, or you can have your student look in their email for the welcome. We're happy to have you here email. That'll include that information as well. So a lot of our communities have gone away from physical keys for getting you into your room, and that's fancy, that's cool. It's really convenient that your students don't have to like carry these physical keys around with them. They can just use their Bearcat ID to like, tap the little black box that's above their door handle. When they get here, there will be some specific instructions for how you can program the student's ID card to that reader on their door. For your reference, they're here on the left. I'm not going to go through all of this, but the general thing is after you tap it once, wait a minute before you tap it again. So that's the big thing that I want everyone to hear. Don't just keep tapping it. After you've tapped it once, it takes a minute to sync. And if you keep tapping it, it's going to like kind of mess that process up and it's going to delay it. So tap it once, give it a minute or two, and then it should work. If you do have any issues, if it's not working, after that, you can let our service center know and we'll help you out with getting it programmed. And then just in general, do your best to like we're going to send out, move in directions, and we've obviously outlined a flow for how move-in day works. But in general, do your best to follow this process. This is our like planned and proven flow for how things go most smoothly and give you the best experience for move-in day. We're a big school, there's thousands of cars and families arriving each of these days. And so if you do something like go straight to your hall to move in instead of like going to your queue location to move in, that's going to result in a worse experience for you. Unfortunately, you're going to get referred back to the queue process, like get back to that queue location. And that can probably be frustrating. But please do your best to just go to the places we've outlined at the times we've outlined. If you have any questions, like when you're here, obviously we're happy to help, and we'll be doing our best to make this a positive and exciting experience that it is, sending your kids to school. But yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah, Richard, I'm going to jump in here too because I'm seeing a lot of questions about can we park on the street and unload? Can we find a different location? I would strongly advise not to do that. The closest streets you're going to find are going to be several blocks away. We have commandeered a lot of the streets that are close to our residential buildings because we have a process that is proven to work and we know works, and we know when it is followed, it is a very smooth process for folks. So we would ask that you follow the process as it's outlined. There's lots of questions about and maybe some confusion about which garage they go to for check-in and for unload. We have all of this information on our website as well, so please head over there. We've got some really great videos up there, and we're happy to answer some questions, but also a lot of these things will be available in the recording that Diamond had mentioned, and also on our website. We've got a whole page that Richard has put together for move-in with lots of questions about what's my process look like? What's the flow look like? What can I bring? And those sorts of things. So we love that you're asking these questions, and we have tons of resources available for you as well. Richard, I think you're up on the last slide here too.
All right. One more kind of like odds and ends type of thing is a lot of people want to send their students mail or packages. And so I do want to go over where you can send those things. And so we have a centralized package center at UC. So if you want to send your student anything, this is the address that you should be doing that at. Like if your student is assigned to, one of our specific residence hall communities, that is not the same as their mailing address. So their physical address is different. That is not where you should be sending mail. So if you do want to send like a package, you would be sending it to what I've done a screen grab of this 2715 Bearcat Way address, you can address it to your student's first and last name, and then you'll see a comma and then this in red font here, student I7. Your student should have what we call a 6+2. It's also what's used for their email address. For example, mine is sharprr. It's usually going to be their last name and then like their first initial. But if you have like a more common last name and things like that, there might be some numbers in it. So this student I7 is an example of that. You'll want to include that on the address line. So first, last name, comma, 6+2, and then you send it to this address. It's the same address for everybody, this 2715 Bearcat Way. The earliest day to receive package is 2 days before your move-in date. So if you do want to send something to your students here at campus and they're assigned to move in on our like first year move-in day of August 19th, please don't send it before August 17th. That would be the first day that the package center would receive your student's move-in package. So 2 days before your assigned move-in day is when you can send packages.
Great. Thank you so much. We have lots of questions in the Q&A section. I know that we're all trying to answer them as we go. I am seeing some questions about Bearcat card and their ID. If they have not received that yet, our Bearcat card office will be open during business hours, the 19th, 20th, and 21st. And if you're arriving on the 16th, they will be open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We do have it posted on our website on our move-in page as well, if that's something you need to go back to, and reference at a later date as well. I also saw a couple of different questions about parking and bringing more than one car. Again, you're welcome to go reference this on our website as well, but if students have a permit, they should, I think, have already been told where their permit is, and they use their Bearcat cards to access their garage that they've been assigned to. So they'll be able to go directly to that garage. And for our guests, we'll have designated garages for guests to park in. It is certainly okay if there is more than one car. We average 1.5 cars per student. We do encourage you to try and limit it to 2 cars as much as possible, just again for the flow around our campus and for our move-in purposes. So if you have 2 cars, we are happy to accommodate 2 cars for a student, and we will have hang tags for everyone and unload zone areas for everyone to accommodate that as well.
There was a question about if a family, I guess it's only the student and the family member coming, so it's only 2 of them, but you said one person stay with the car. So they were just concerned about it's going to take them longer if somebody had to stay with the car and they only have that one student.
Yeah, so we certainly know that so some folks may only have 2 people or even just 1 person, and we're willing to work with folks who have a smaller number of folks. And so again, that's where your hang tag is going to come in really handy. Just share with the staff and the volunteers in that unload zone that it's just 1 of you or just 2 of you. And we will work with you to help make sure your move-in and your unload is as smooth as possible. If you have, let's say 2 cars and 4 people, we would just ask that 1 person stays with the car at all times while carts are being moved and taken up to the rooms, or if you're in the Dabney Daniels area, utilizing that coat check system.
Another one that I was seeing that was kind of common was how early from their move-in time can they come or line up?
At your move-in time, please try and arrive at your move-in time. We have move-in times every 15 minutes, and so we are actively moving folks through the process and through the line to get folks moved in. So that is a great question. There's a misperception sometimes that my time slot is my move-in time slot. Your time slot is actually your check-in time slot, and then we'll get you into your unload zone and your move-in space soon after that for getting all your personal belongings into your room. We will accept folks if you're here, a little bit early or a little bit later. We're not going to turn you away if you're not right on time. And some of the times, right, it might just be that traffic is backed up. We also know that folks are coming from faraway places that have like I-75 and accidents happen, or, lots of different circumstances can happen. So do your best and aim to try and get here at as close to your time slot as possible. And we will certainly make sure to get you checked in. What we ask to not happen is please don't come half a day early or, a day early. We want to make sure that we're honoring and respecting the time slots for the folks who have them that day and at that time period.
I want to answer a couple questions that I'm seeing in the Q&A. One is, is there people who like help you move your belongings from the car into the building? So generally not. So generally you'll unload and bring your belongings into the building yourselves. Another question is like what's included in the rooms. We do have this outlined on some pages on our website under there's a move-in tab. There's also like a what to bring subpage. You can visit that, but generally all the rooms, you've got beds, dressers, desks, kind of the typical things that you can expect. Another common question I'm seeing is about parking passes. I believe you can just pick up your parking passes from the parking department when you get here. I don't know if they have any weekend hours, so if you're arriving on the weekend, I'm not sure what they're offering for that. Unfortunately, it's just a different department than us, so my information is that I know is limited, but generally, you should be able to go and get your passes from their office. Also, your ID card, your Bearcat ID card, once you have it, will get you in and out of garages that you have a pass for. Another question that I'm seeing is if you have any like specific questions, like person-specific, student-specific questions, like who can you contact? We have a call center. We have 8 student employees and 4 full-time professional staff that are available every day during our business hours. If you want to give us a call, you are welcome to give us a call, and we're happy to answer whatever you've got. The number is 513-556-9800. Again, it's 513-556-9800. You are also welcome to email us. All of those staff members are also monitoring our general housing email account. You can email us at uchousing@uc.edu. Again, it's uchousing@uc.edu. So if you have any specific questions that we just didn't go over today, please feel free to call us or email us. If we don't like answer you immediately, we've been giving people a call back within 10 minutes, even on our busiest days this year. So we'll get back to you very quickly.
A question in here about total time to move our student in. You have 30 minutes. So we're asking that you really stick as close as possible to the 30 minutes to unload your car and get things into the rooms. We ask that you don't settle your items and unpack all your items while you're still in the unload zone. You'll need to move your car out of the unload zone and then go back and start personalizing your space, unpacking, and making it feel like home. So really that 30 minutes is 30 minutes to get your personal belongings from your car to the room or into the coat check system if you're in Dabney and Daniels, move your car, and then come back and you can be in that space as long as you want after you've left the unload zone.
And you
One question that I'm seeing is if you're like part of a program or something like that, and you have to like be here before the 16th, That's fine, but you need to tell us. So we have an early arrival request form in the housing portal. Sign in as soon as you can, and complete that. Just to make sure that we've got everything all set and ready for you, and we can plan for your arrival. But sign into the housing portal, complete the early arrival request form.
Can you all clarify the breaks on when students have to move out versus when they can stay?
Sure. So I love that folks are thinking in advance. Thank you for doing that. For our winter break students who are returning as students in the spring semester are welcome to leave their personal belongings in their room and in their space. Obviously, take anything that you might need for the break and the holidays with you, and anything that you might not want to leave, laptops or common things, right, that folks are going to take with them as well. But you're welcome to leave anything in your space. If student is not returning for the spring semester because they're doing a co-op or they're transferring, then they will need to move out in December, and we will have a whole line of communications around the Thanksgiving holiday time to communicate move out process and what that process looks like. Same is true for spring break. You don't have to check out or move out for any of our break holidays. Simply depart and come back on our move-in days when we reopen for the semester or the term.
I saw a couple questions
Couple
about
questions. Go ahead, Jacob.
a couple questions about parking garages and heights. The parking garage height capacities are available on parking's website. So once you know where you're being asked to queue up or where you're being asked to unload, you might want to review to see if your vehicle is too large for that space. We can accommodate some vehicles that are too large, but it's best if you can use a vehicle that will actually fit in those locations. So please review parking services location information to get that information.
I'm seeing some questions about like where do I go if my student is in X building? Um, we will be sending the dash pass and the move-in instructions email tomorrow. It'll have specific information about like your process. Also, if you navigate to our housing website on the move-in page, it's also one of the main tabs that you'll see at the top of the screen. There are traffic maps at the bottom of that page that will take you through the entire expected flow for your student if they're in a particular building. So it'll tell you which garage you're going to go to. It'll tell you after you've checked in at that garage what your next steps are, like where you'll be directed to and all that stuff. So any building specific questions like what does my process look like, those are all outlined on our move-in page. So you can see that information there. Diamond, do you all record these and post them anywhere? I'm seeing a few questions about that as well.
Yes, that's a great question. We do post these. We do ask that people just give us a little bit time or a few days, as we do have to get it captioned for accessibility purposes. And so we send it out to someone else and have to get it back. So it will be, a little bit of delay, but we'll definitely get it out to you as soon as possible. And we have everyone's emails who's tied to today's presentation.
One question I saw that I think is a really good question is when do students get their IDs? So our ID card office generally has regular business hours. I do know that on early arrival day, so Saturday, August 16th, I believe they're having hours from 9 to 4 on that day. So if you are arriving on the 16th, you should be able to go to their office and get your ID. They are not having hours on Sunday, August 17th. So if you arrive late on the 16th or on the 17th, please plan to not have your ID on that day. So that's something to consider. and I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling through these questions. So I don't know if we cover this material as part of our presentation after some people have asked these questions. But I'm gonna go over it again anyway. All bed adjustment questions. If you have a question about like what your student's default setting is, like for height, or if it comes bunked or what have you, on our website under move-in, there's a customize your room section, and that includes requests for bed adjustments. The bed adjustment page goes over all of the defaults, and it also lists out all the different options if your student in a particular community would like to change. Some communities we don't offer adjustments for different reasons. One being like space, another being like just we don't have it available in those communities. But all of any questions about what's the default and what are my options for changing it are on that bed adjustments page. So again, you'll go to the move-in tab on our website. Under that, there's a customize your room section, and you can find it there.
Richard, I'm seeing some, and Jacob and Diamond, I'm seeing some questions about elevators. All of our buildings do have elevators. The exception to that is Stratford Heights. We do not have elevators in those buildings, with the exception of one building over there. But yes, all of our buildings do have elevators. During our move-in days, there will be some structured elevator usage. So our time slots are queued up so that we're moving in floors at a time, essentially. And so we will have some elevators designated for specifically getting those floors to their floors during those times. And then there will be other elevators for folks to be able to come and go from other floors and other communities during that process. So we just ask that you kind of ask those questions in your building or in your community about which elevators you're able to use. A lot of our buildings will have a queue line for elevators, and we anticipate that the elevator structure will allow for smoother and more efficient use of our elevators within our buildings. Unfortunately, some of our elevators do get tired during our move-in process, and so we have to, as my children call it, call the elevator doctor in. And so we do have repair folks on campus to get our elevators back online as quickly as possible. So just asking for your patience. Where you're able to stair carry, we do encourage that to happen. If you're on some lower floors, we do encourage that piece as well.
So
Dabney
definitely.
is the question of the day, I think, about elevators. We do have one elevator in Dabney. Our move-in flow for Dabney, anyone who lives on the 4th floor will be able to go directly in a door that gets them to the 4th floor directly without stairs or elevators. 5th floor will be the same concept. We'll be able to get you onto the 5th floor directly with no stairs and no elevator. And then floors 6, 7, and 8 will have you go through our lobby and utilize the elevator that way.
Can you all just go back one more slide to show the Bearcats Package Center address again? We have several hundreds of people. We're excited to have that much engagement and participation on this call today. And so we unfortunately won't be able to answer every single question that we do have, but I just want to remind families that there's a lot of valuable information laid out on the housing website, that they have all the information available to you. You just kind of got to find it a little bit. But they've tried to, place it that you all can easily access that as well to answer many of your questions. And so just be reminded that. And then again, take a picture or screenshot of this for the package center. And Richard, you said it was 2 days. So we
Yep.
had that question there. 2 days before move-in is when you can first receive a package to that address. And this is just going to be the central location for all student mail. They will get a QR code. It'll be in a locker, similar like Amazon. It's a very well organized, well-oiled machine. They'll get that notification via email with the QR code, and they just go and scan that, and the locker will open, and they will be able to retrieve their package. This has been a lot better than any of the systems we had in the past. It's right here, centrally located on campus. Even when we send the postcards through our office, we send those to that package center as well. And they get those to the students via that method also.
So I'm seeing some questions about what if my student is moving in on a day other than the 16th, 19th, 20th, or 21st. Communications coming out, I believe Richard said tomorrow, but if your student is moving in on a day other than the 16th, the 19th, 20th, or 21st, your check-in and unload is directly at your building. We know that there is a smaller volume of students and folks arriving to campus during that time, so you will be able to go directly to your building. If you are on the 16th, the 19th, 20th, or 21st, you will be asked to go through your queued up system and arrive at your check-in garage or and go through our process that way.
Well, I'll just put our little plug in that family weekend is October 3rd through the 5th. So please save the date for that. Registration is currently open and many of our add-ons have already sold out. So we would love for you to join us. Parents, families, and your students, everyone is welcome. So if you would like to participate, I would encourage you to go ahead and register sooner rather than later, as the family weekend registration will sell out. We do unfortunately have to cap that event just with the infrastructure of campus, parking spaces, the number of restrooms, and so on. So please go ahead and register today. Don't wait. And sign up, your student and your family so that you can come and enjoy that action-packed weekend that we have planned for you all. I want to thank our campus partners and our housing team for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule to provide this valuable information to our families. We certainly couldn't do this without you. And again, we just thank you for collaborating with us. This has been a truly, major success. Parents and families, if you have any other topics that you would like to hear, email our office or send that information out through our family portal. We're definitely, looking at that information to, provide you all and best meet your needs based on the information that you want most. And so again, if you have ideas, feel free to send that to our office and we'll see what type of partnerships that we can work out with some of our campus partners. I don't know if you all see any other questions, but again, I do want to be sensitive to everyone's schedule. Again, we thank you all for joining. Please feel free to reach out to our office anytime. You can contact us at families@uc.edu. I can't stress that family portal enough. You should already be receiving a lot of communication. If you're here today, that lets me know that you're connected. And so please stay connected and engaged through that platform, as that is our central form of communication with you all. And then you can always give us a call at 513-556-1200. And again, our housing team will be available. They put their information and share that as well about where to contact them and where to ask questions to their office specifically as well. Do you all have any other
If you have
thing?
any, if you have any other questions for housing, don't hesitate to give us a call. Again, our number is 513-556-9800, and you can email us at uchousing@uc.edu.
Simon, thanks so much for hosting us. We appreciate the space to be able to share our move-in process and help answer questions.
You're welcome. It's truly a pleasure. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week. And we look forward to seeing you all starting in 11 days. All right. Thank you so much.